a blade, charts on fire, red and green like a funeral pyre. Discord screaming LFG, but my portfolio's haunting me. Spiked my coffee with regret. Last night I longed to break out bet. Now I'm broke, not broken yet. Just one more pump, I won't forget. Buy high, die huddling. The 10 brain dopamine's controlling. Ride the whale or get wrecked clean. This crypto dream's a guillotine. Fake guru with 1,000 subs showed me coins in shitty clubs. Promised moons, Lambos and jets. Now I'm left with JPEGs and debts. Scalped my soul in a 5-minute chart. Market dumped and it ripped my heart. But I'll reload, I'll play to win. Even if I lose it all again. Buy high, die huddling. Gas fees burn, but I keep rolling. FOMO's gone, greed's the king. This crypto dream's a punk rock thing. Diamond hands with the crack in the glass. Risk it all, no brakes, full gas. Liquidation, call me sweet. Whisper welcome to defeat. No stop loss, no regrets. Code and chaos, no safety nets. Satoshi's ghost in my DMs told me to ape again and again. Buy high, die huddling. Gas fees burn, but I keep rolling. If I crash, at least I tried. In this wild west of blockchain rights. I'll be trading till the lights go out. Charts are noise, but I live for the sound. One candle spike, and I'm back in town. Crypto's a fight, and I'm 10 toes down. Diamond hands with the crack in the glass. Risk it all, no brakes, full gas. But I'll reload, I play to win. Even if I lose it all again.
What's up, guys? Hope you're having a great day today. The market definitely is skyrocketing. It's insane. Let's move myself back over here. Okay. There we go. And let's move the watch list aside there. All right, cool. Looks like you guys can see anything a lot better. How you guys doing? Touche. Hope you're doing well. Thanks, man. Mr. Fred. Ride that bull, Kyle. Yeah, that's an old thumbnail I made a while ago. It was a lot of fun making that one. Sterling. How you doing, Sterling? HRJ. You crushing it lately, bro. Bull Runner. AC. What's up? Yeah, we had a crazy run. We had Powell talking today, which is definitely enhanced the volatility of this break for sure. There's little hints that they might be reducing rates in February based on the jobs results. So we'll see if that actually plays out in September. We'll find out. I personally don't think it's a good idea yet to be shifting and changing the rates just yet, but what do I know, right? What's up, Beyond Capital? How you doing? Colin Crypto. How you doing? JB, Hulk Smash. What's up? All right. Yeah, so we gave a signal on like a limit buy at 111,870, anticipating this SFP or sweep here before bouncing. Now, I didn't expect this big of a pump, but we did expect a pump after testing this area. And now we're kind of at our next barrier of concern, like one that we spoke about recently, was the 50-day EMA with the confluence of this local high and this previous point of control. But with the volatility that we had, we just got up there in a single candle and closed and continued up to our next barrier concern, which is this previous value area low and the supply concern. In that confluence, we had a couple of order blocks that were already mitigated from this wick. So it's just a matter of whether or not we get the SFP. If we do get the SFP, then we will be attacking this low from here to here. If we get the candle close, we'll have that proper break of structure and a sign of potential continuation, leading inside of this previous value area from here to here. And I'll zoom out so you can see what I'm talking about. We had this value area here that we were ranging within for about 16 days. So there's a lot of interest in this area. It has helped us identify key levels in our trading ever since, right? So we had resistance, came up, had the POC act as support. We got a volatile break past the value area high. Once we got that break, seen it act as resistance again, support, resistance, support, you know, and now we're here again trying to get acceptance into that previous value area. And we'd have a lot of help from that previous point of control and the previous value area high to anticipate next levels of potential interest or exhaustion. So we have the confluence of this supply zone with its value area high. So if we do get acceptance inside this value area, we could see it slow down around 119,250. And I would be anticipating for us to go range bound if we do get that breakthrough between here and here again. And from that consolidation, we're going to have an answer. It's going to give us a warning sign of whether or not we're going to get that continuation or if we're going to come right back down. I do want to warn you, as really cool as these pumps usually are, they do tend to be short-lived. Like sometimes we will like fill them right back up and then we'll consolidate from there. So I'm hopeful that we do get that break of structure and we stabilize here, so that would be less of a chance for that to occur. But I just want to let you guys know, like a warning sign, just in case you're super hyped up. Like this is not a time to be buying. This is a time to be preparing to find things to sell, right? What if it doesn't close above? If it doesn't close above, yeah, basically the warning I was suggesting before, if we don't get the close above this wick to give us that potential continuation, we could SFP, and then this low will be attacked, and this low breaks, then we'll have a double top structure. Will give us a measurable target to the previous point of control right here, and it's also roughly where the 50-day EMA is. So if we did get that break, it would likely be a short-lived just a pullback for likely a continuation up. But yeah, it's looking good so far. Like the active candle is green so far, and we're trying to get above this area. We got about 6 minutes left before the 15-minute candle closes. Let's see what happens. So like in a scenario like this, like me personally, I'm not looking to short this or anything like that. But let's see. This is how you would prepare for it, right? You mark your wick. You have your alarm set. And then if you get that alarm trigger, then it tells you to look at your charts. And then the candle closes below the wick, then you have yourself an SFP. If you get that SFP, then the measurable target is this low. And then if you get that break, then you have that continuation target to here. If you don't get the break, you just take the exit for the SFP setup. But I like to do SFPs in areas of like high amounts of liquidity. Not that there isn't a high amount of liquidity here, but there is like better areas, right? So we have like where our previous target was, basically, where this wick high is. We had this wick level here, which was picture perfect. I am killing myself for missing the future setup. I got the spot entry, but I missed the future setup because like we're talking about this in our lives for a while, right? The 112K level and this low here that could be swept, right? And we finally made it there, and I wasn't at my charts, we got the sweep with this candle here, and then we closed. So this would have been your legacy SFP trade. So when you're looking at historical levels, like lows like this that have a lot of liquidity resting below it, that's called a legacy SFP. And you can take those trades and they tend to give you really good moves. Now, again, if I were to take this trade at the time, I would not have expected this. I would have anticipated resistance at this order block and the confluence of this downtrending momentum. But the best part is when we got to that point, if anyone did take that sweep trade, which I did see a lot of people did take it, so congratulations to you guys. You're laughing with these gains right now. The good thing about these moves is that they're emotionless. So when you have the break right through all your resistance levels in a single candle, like you're set. You don't have to worry about the barriers anymore. You're breaking past a whole bunch of key levels and you're able to move your stop loss relatively quickly. But yeah, if I were in this futures trade right now, I would be trailing the VWAP with my stop loss until I get proper structure to define a new strong low to place my stop loss below it. So for example, this level, if we get a close above here and I see some proper acceptance into this value area, I'll be rotating my stop loss from any entry down here to below this low. Okay, the chat's going wild. Okay, let's sec here. Good afternoon, Melissa. How you doing? Brandon. AC is hoping that they reduced the rates. Well, I guess if you're in the US, it impacts pretty much the entire globe. So, yeah, I could see it would increase the global liquidity if they reduced the rates. So it would kind of enhance the ability for us to expect a strong continuation, especially in the alt side, because things will be a little bit more risk on. So if we do get that rate cut, that timing would be perfect for what we expect in October, right? If we go to CoinGlass and we check out CoinGlass /today, free tool to use. A lot of mechanical based strategies are built off of these data points. So if you look at monthly returns for October, we call it Uptober for a reason. If we did get those rate cuts in September, it would definitely likely provide a strong pump into October, and then October would play out its historical performance, like its seasonality performance like we normally expect it to do. So I'm expecting, yeah, if we do get the rate cuts, big pump in October most likely. But yeah, and then we'll likely see people screaming the words altcoin season, all that fun stuff. Okay, Dutchy. Oh my God, is this the real College Ismore? Yeah. What's up, man? Wave Cypher, how you doing, bro? Another great trader to follow, guys. Melissa, you're talking up the chat. See, oh, you guys are talking amongst each other. Right on. In a legacy SLF. I wish yard work sucks. Oh, yard work pulled you out. It's expensive yard work. Yeah, who got pulled away from? Oh, Caliber, one of our members, Caliber, he got pulled away from the charts due to a diaper change. So it's probably one of the most expensive diaper changes he's ever done. We get it. Sometimes life pulls you away from the charts. Wagner saying rectangle before October. So with this pump, I highly agree with that, Wagner. When you have a pump leading into the end of August, like this, it really sets you up for pullback for the upcoming month. So September might live to its name as well, as Rectember is known to give us the red months, right? It only had 4 bullish months in its history in September, and those bullish months weren't very dramatic. We had like a 2% move, 6% overall, and 4% overall, and a 7% overall. And yeah, August right now is like 0.7. But yeah, we're kind of like getting it kind of set up for a pullback, and that should be reflected in the Rectember charts. We're seeing Ethereum right now as we speak at an all-time high. Oh, very close. Really close. Super close. We got above this local high, which is like this falling channel's measurable target. So if anyone took the falling channel trade, congratulations. Now it would have been a little bit tough to jump into, even using the 15-minute chart. We had, did we sweep that low? Let's see. Well, we swept a low, but not the wick level. I'm not sure how many people may have jumped in on this. Not without jumping in on maybe an active candle. But congrats to anyone who jumped in on this. There's a lot of assets that just followed through with Bitcoin and Ethereum. So some people are bound to have happened to have gotten into a good position for longs. Bitcoin got that proper break. So now it's a matter of getting acceptance now into the valley area. So we're within the valley area now. I'd like to see one more follow-up break of structure in order for me to feel confident that we're likely going to rotate up to 119.1k. Let's see what happens. Well, we did get that break, so it invalidated the idea of this becoming an SFP, which is kind of nice. It reduces our chances of us getting that pullback down to here. Doesn't mean it can't happen, but we won't be getting it from an SFP anymore. All right. Oh, Caliber, whatever. Never thought diaper changes would be this expensive. Yeah, Dushy's saying kids are overrated. Yeah, well, yeah, they're not. You'll see. Did you have kids, Ben? Ben, I just pressed long. Not gonna lie, and good. Sometimes Newsdays will just follow. Yeah, well, you'll notice the more you look at squeezes like this, when you see price action getting pushed down from downtrending momentum or uptrending momentum, right? And you see it getting compressed against a key level like this, that there's bound to usually be a news event around this time. It'll make you feel like you live in a simulation. It's insane. And they tend to give you those volatile breaks when you have those squeeze events. All this liquidity that was stacking up here, right? So, yeah, it'll make you feel like you live in a simulation as you see these kind of breaks occur. Show me the charts, I'll tell you the news. That's a really cool saying in trading. But yeah. All right. So, where I am preparing for a potential, I might be, so I jumped in with a spot entry down here. My goal, I'm creating like a new spot portfolio. My goal is to try to accumulate one full Bitcoin with just $25,000 by constantly selling at top of ranges and rebuying at the bottom of ranges. Basically following my same everyday rules, except I'm not just doing it with futures, I'm also going to be doing it with spot for accumulation. And that, yeah. So my next little play that I'm preparing for, it's all going to be reactional based on how Bitcoin performs around 119, 250. But around here, I'll be looking for structural evidence of weakness, an opposing change of character, and I'll likely be targeting the 117k level. We are already building a potential demand zone right here, right? So if we did get that change of character reaction, we already know based on the current price action that this would be a potential target, right? And that this could help us support a potential demand zone. Like I talk about that all the time on this channel, where we look for these impulse moves, and then we get the opposing change of character, and then we target the low here, waiting for the next opposing change of character to establish it as a range, and then we can start pulling our fixed range following profile from this point to where we currently are. Normally we'll use this as our floor, so we don't always dip in within it. We normally use it as a floor, so expect if we do get that opposing change of character that we'll bounce off from the highs of it before getting that rotation up. But yeah, that's assuming we actually get that acceptance into this valley area so we can anticipate that kind of move. But that's what I'm preparing for. Like, I'm not going to try shorting this now. I'll be waiting for the structure around here. If we do break this low, we will get a change in character, and then we'll be targeting here, but it might be the risk to reward ratio might not be worth it. So if we do that break, just prepare for, sorry, I got booted out from a friend. Yeah, just prepare for a potential bounce off the 50-day EMA and the previous point of control. But you would likely expect a signal from me if we get around here. And maybe a long signal around here. But yeah, that is Bitcoin. Randy, Kyle, yes, I have 4 kids. Life is crazy too. Enjoying the HBAR pump. Yeah, let's take a peek at HBAR, see how it's doing. I got my HBAR chart open already. HBAR, we were talking about this key level, a couple key levels actually. I wanted to accumulate HBAR down here, but we had a SFP from this low that we marked to here. We were anticipating price action. If we broke the low that we were talking about earlier, we were looking for that double bottom or potential sweep from this low here for an entry. Looks like it's did the SFP opportunity with a hammer candle, so double confluence there, and we got a target. Man, I probably would have pulled a fib on this from the high to low and use the fib for a potential target. But again, seeing a giant green candle like this blasting right through it, be pretty emotionless, allow you to hold the trade. Got the change of character here, and now we are coming up to, yeah, we're getting close to the downtrending momentum. Pretty darn close. We have a level here with the 15-minute order block. We got a wick level here as well, where we could get that sweep and return down. Get your magnet tool, cling it to the wick. There we go. So if we get that continuation, it will likely correlate really well with Bitcoin getting acceptance into that value area. But if Bitcoin does not, then we can likely see where we find a good key area. Yeah, we'll probably find support around here. Maybe build that head and shoulders. Let's see what happens. We're starting to lose momentum on HBAR. So likely we'll see some consolidation. Yeah, see this is our momentum here. Lost it through a failure to create a higher high so far. Coming down to this little demand. Hit our golden pocket from here to here. But yeah, this will be our next little key level that we can anticipate a bounce. So I can mark that on my chart for you if that helps you out. But if you're in a long on HBAR, you're in a good spot to hold. I'd definitely be taking some profits. Send it back. Looking good, man. Congrats on the long. That's awesome. Okay, going to DOT. Let's see how DOT did. DOT didn't make it to our zone. It bounced off its local liquidity sweep. Yeah, it did an SFP as well. You probably would have been a little bit emotional taking the trade at first. This was the entry candle. This was the stop loss. So it went against you a little bit, but then, yeah, broke our key level and then skyrocketed from there. Broke our downtrending momentum. And now we're coming up towards, and we broke past this point of control. Yeah, we've got a macro point of control up here. And our supply zone up here as well. So DOT is getting close to a key level as well for resistance. Locally it's getting, yeah, it swept this previous high here. So any trap buyers are likely getting out. So I anticipate consolidation as well for DOT. We have this momentum that we broke. We could return to retest it. I'll look at the order books to see if there's any buy walls here chasing this, just like there were sell walls before. The buy that might have flipped into buyers, so double check that. If we get that bounce, if we do go all the way down, we get that bounce, then this is our next area of interest. If we just consolidate and continue up, this is still an area that you got to watch out for potential resistance at. It starts at $4.15. But this is one of those ones that you're try to accumulate and hold until around $7. That's the primary target for like the macro hold. All right, getting that golfing response right now on Bitcoin. We were talking about tweezer tops yesterday, and we're forming one now. And the golfing tweezer top, these are bearish indicator. We just had an opposing version of one right here. This is a bullish engulfing tweezer. Some people trade just off of these guys, and they'll use the high or low that they create as your stop loss guard, because that's the invalidation point for. But you just got to make sure you have a measurable target. Like, where's your barrier that you want to target, and what is your risk reward ratio to that barrier? Ben, can we check out JTO? I'm in a long from 1.67 SFP. Nice. Wick's wife, fine. How you doing? Beyond Physique, how do you rebalance to accumulate more HBAR? Yeah, if you want, we'll go over that. Let's look at JTO first for Ben, and then we'll look at a rebalancing strategy for HBAR. It depends on what you mean by rebalance. If you're taking some from your existing holdings from HBAR itself, or if you're taking it from another asset that might be overheated. If you find one that's in an overheated state and you want to maybe take your seed investment or take portions out and then rebalance into HBAR, that's a different story. We can go over that too. JTO. Okay, so let's see what JTO even is. Oh, Jupiter, right? No, that's not. I wrote JTP. JTO. Jito. Okay. I guess I've done TA on this thing before. Let's see. Oh, is that a macro value area low? So you'd definitely be a buyer in this area. We still are below its downtrending measurable momentum, or downtrending momentum here on the daily. That's been holding it down for about 253 days. Pretty intense. But yeah, we're definitely in a buyer's area. In the macro, we are building a large double top structure, or double bottom structure, right here. We fractalize a bit here. We might have an inverse head and shoulders here. So we got lots of signs of accumulation. We have, so if you got in on the SFP, you're probably from around here. Let's take a look at the hourly. So you got it at 167. Good job, man. Dang. Right on the wick. Solid. So we marked this supply concern previously, but this is not relevant anymore. We have a new level that we gotta watch out for. This is our last key level that we looked at. So this is the, okay. So we're coming in on the neckline right now. We have buy side liquidity resting above here. That's assumption based by not looking at the liquidation heat maps, but or hourly order block. Send it back. All right, so right now it is like a little 1v1 against the 50-day EMA. Right, we're trying to hold it as support. If we zoom in on the 15 minute and see how it's doing, it's not really fully retested yet. We're starting to see this rounded top behavior, which is a sign of investor confidence kind of going down. So the buyers are starting to slow down a bit. So it does look like it needs a little bit of a cool down. We're really high on the RSI, at least on the 15-minute time frame. If we start seeing some divergence, I'm expecting a pullback once we get around here. Hit our head around 189. We do see some like these sell shadow wicks starting to pile up. So maybe we'll sweep this high in confluence with tapping this level and then pull back and test the 50-day EMA and consolidate from there. Awesome job with that SFP setup, man. You are in a really good spot. You don't even have really much. Yeah, that's a 12% move. Even with just a spot buy, you're doing pretty good. What you really want to see happen is consolidation to create a reset for this asset. So if we stay above this 50-day EMA and consolidate, we would have the opportunity to break this neckline and give you a really good target extension. There's one little warning I want to give, though, for anyone who's trading alts. Like, I know Ethereum is doing extremely well, and we probably hit the all-time high in other exchanges. So if I go to, I built this new chart for us. A pre-trade chart. I gotta still do some work on it, but it's gonna include the US dollar index, Bitcoin dominance, the top 10 crypto, like others dominance, and the mini Russell 2000, so we can find out like where the attention is shifting between assets. And as Ethereum hits its all-time high, I'm expecting Bitcoin dominance to have a bounce at this key level. We have like a golden pocket 786 key level here. We're at the 57.20% level, which is a strong area of confluence. So as Ethereum gets closer and closer to the all-time high, I do expect that Bitcoin dominance to start to have more attention and for us to have a bit of a bounce here. And during that time, you might see alts just start to slow down. And when Bitcoin's price action tends to drop during those times, altcoins tend to bleed a lot more than Bitcoin does. So just be aware of that. That's what I'm preparing for, is that attention shift from alts into Bitcoin. We're tapping into the level now as we speak. Let's see. But yeah, awesome job on this. I'm really hopeful that we get that break, because the measurable target for JTO at that point would extend based on the momentum to these previous highs at $2.44, and getting above this point of control and holding above these levels, we can see it potentially get that rotation up to its value area high once more. It's been a long time since it's been up at that value area high, but this would be the conduit, the spark that will allow us to get there. Because this would break us above the 200-day EMA, this would break us above the macro point of control, and break the downtrending momentum. So I would, if I were in your shoes, because of the potential that your scalp trade on JTO could convert into a swing trade pretty high, I would leave at least 25% of your position in your trade after you've taken some profits, and just let the rest of it ride, and just be aware of potential funding rate fees and stuff like that to see if it's worth it. I don't know what the funding rate fees are for this asset. Sometimes they're nasty, but majority of the time they're tolerable. They're not that bad. Let's go back to the watch list here, switch back to Bitcoin, and see if there's any requests. Wrong chart. There we go. Okay. Awesome. Kyle, awesome. You already filled the listing papers? Yep. Already filled the papers on that. All right. Want to look at Solana, Ben? We could do that. Ben already took 50%, but thank you for that. No problem. All right, cool. I am doing a promotion for the community, by the way, guys. The coupon is going to be ATH, just to represent Ethereum being at its all-time high. It'll be like 50% off. So you get access to the courses, the trade hunting calls, the other 4 calls as well with Lucas, David. We have HRJ doing a great, awesome. Is doing 3 calls next week with the community to teach everyone about neo waves and supply and demand with his long-term strategy. His signals are bangers, man. They're, let's see, right here. Yeah, so he does like a long-term based strategy where he looks for areas of supply or demand and uses a neo wave structure to define when he should be looking for some key levels to enter. And yeah, so he'll be teaching those on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern next week. And it's free for members. But yeah, ATH is the code for anyone who wants to try us out. Will that coupon work on the yearly? It will, but it'll be, so the yearly already comes with 2 free months, so it'll give you an extra 20% off on the yearly. So if you're already an existing member and you're trying to wait for a discount, like now is your time kind of thing. A lifetime membership, that's an NFT system, so we can't really give discounts on it, unfortunately. Sorry, man. Hey, bro, how about Tron? Can you take a look at that? Yeah, let's see what Tron's doing. Tron's probably, it's always the one that no one talks about. Same with BNB. No one talks about BNB either, but they're like thriving. They're doing so well this cycle. Massive rounded bottom structure on Tron. This is the hourly chart. Let's go to the daily for a second. Yeah, almost hitting its, I wouldn't call it the all-time high, but it's, might as well. Yeah, so this is all like low, like there wasn't very much consolidation in this area, so there's no key levels other than the high itself at 45 cents. Might as well mark that. And zoom in here. It's just got this massive like ascending channel, and every time we test this like not legacy support, but this evolving momentum, we have like a really aggressive bounce off it, and then we just got more negative space away from it. So I'd mark a new level of support from here to here. It keeps it, you notice that it keeps doing that. That just keeps getting more and more buyer's momentum, and it keeps evolving its state of pace. So now we got this. We can delete this. This is no longer helpful. And we got this rounded bottom. Where's our equilibrium point? Here. Yeah. So our equilibrium point here. We've already exceeded past this measurable target. No, we just hit past this measurable target. Wild. And here's its current momentum right here. Briefly went past that area. Let's get this high marked in case we sweep. Now, this asset, Tron, it does give you SFPs, but it tends to just only get them at the lows, I've noticed. You get these like, they'll honor the low SFPs for buyers, but the sell side SFPs never get honored. So just be aware of that. We could prepare for one up here, like a sweep and then come down, but what you'll most likely get is a candle close above it instead. Consolidation, then come down. Never usually get that sweep and come down. So look for a structural evidence, like a change of character reaction. Doesn't mean it won't happen, it's just they don't usually give it to you. The price action right now is quite vertical, so I can't really say like any key levels just yet, unless we're going into low time frames, like the 5 minute we have a key level, like right here. This key level broke on the 5 minute. When we get that break of structure fall through, we'd go through this fair value gap and likely land here. But with the way things are going right now, it might make it all the way up to 37 cents before any signs of true weakness occurs. Yeah, this is our current like internal momentum on the 5 minute. And this is our current key level on the 5, but if we get the higher high, then our key level will rotate from here to here. And then this will likely act as a form of demand like it already has for potential range-bound price action. Wild, man. And Tron's on a tear. The one that got away. I didn't invest in Tron this cycle. I did last cycle, but I didn't touch it this cycle. It's like, it reminds me of the old Bitcoin charts that people used to cast out in memes, where you're always waiting to try to buy the dip, but there's like no dip. It just keeps going up. It's a pretty quiet chart, but you can access it by typing exclamation point charts inside of the server here. I did just update that recently. So if there's any assets you guys want to have added to it, just send me a message in the Discord. Just type exclamation point commands. It's the new one I created. And then our bot will send you a message telling you all the different commands that we have that will help you learn. Some of them are little tutorials that will get sent to you about changes of character, break of structure, swing failure patterns, valley areas, momentum, order blocks, fair value gaps, and stuff like that, to give you like a little bit of a insight. If I were to type like the abbreviation for change of character, it'll give you a little tutorial on it and what they do and how they help you with your trades, kind of thing. But yeah, Bits, thanks for the tip, man. In MX, I'm not sure what currency that is, but I appreciate it either way. That's pretty cool. Thank you for all your alpha, bro. Truly appreciate it. Would you like to do for more tutorials for us? Actually, okay, so on Monday, I have, over this entire week, I've just kept my head down and wrote up a content plan. So you guys will be getting more YouTube videos from me, like YouTube Shorts, long form videos for tutorials, and not just these lives. So yeah, starting Monday, expect some videos to start being rolled out. And any feedback you guys have in the comments for those videos would help me out too, to help me improve for you guys in the future. I just want to make sure that the videos I give you will actually assist you in your trading and your investment and all that stuff. Hey Cal, can we take a look at ETH? Yeah, we can do that. We were just looking at Ethereum. We had a couple key levels drawn that we anticipated some turbulence. Like we had one here alongside this previous value high on Ethereum. We had this level here. We consolidated for a little bit, then we just blasted off and continued. And we just hit the target for Ethereum for this descending channel, right? Where the liquidity basically ends, right? So this is more of a swing trade. But with the news and the volatility that we had today, it turned this swing trade basically into the same time frame you expect a scalp to go through, right? Because we got up here in like what, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. Yeah, we got up here in 4 hours. It's just ridiculous. So we're moments away from the all-time high. We got a pullback into a low time frame demand zone. We tapped it already. So maybe we'll get that continuation, break a structure, and get that all-time high on our Bitstamp chart. There might already be an all-time high in other charts, but we're really close to getting it on the Bitstamp chart. Yeah, ETH is on fire. It's insane. Lifetime membership is my goal, but need to print some cash first unless you accept payments in potatoes. my kids would accept payments in potatoes for sure. And my daughter Eleanor, she goes around like hunting for acorns in our backyard and puts them in a big pile in on our deck so she can just watch the squirrels in our backyard like go onto our deck and watch them eat them. It's hilarious. And this one time she hot glued them all into a giant pyramid, so it made it really difficult for the squirrels to take the acorns. That was pretty funny. But then they had to like kind of work together to grab it all. Any trades for Ethereum right now? No, man. Right now it's about preparing for the exit plan. Like if you're in a futures trade, especially if you're holding via spot, I would recommend holding like longer term, because like my macro target for Ethereum is around like $7,000, and that's kind of conservative compared to other people's targets. But yeah, around 7,200 is where I'm anticipating some turbulence. And along the way, like you might want to like exit and rebuy, of course, along the way. But we have some psychological levels, like 5,000 psychological level. That's what kind of started this all-time high to begin with, right? That big key $5,000 psychological level, then 6,000, then 7,000. Yeah, but I'm anticipating 7,200 to be the all-time high for this cycle. Let's see what happens. Right now we're in a spot where you'd want to prepare for shorts, of course. When you're at an all-time high, all you really, 100% of holders are out of profit, right? So like buying right now is a little scary. Like I personally would not be recommending people to buy. I'll be recommending people to prepare for a short. We don't have any structural evidence yet for a short. We just got to get that market structure. So at the all-time high, you can use that as a key level. So if we do have a bearish change of character, especially in like higher time frames, then around here you can anticipate a potential rotation down, and you can look for. The thing is, we normally look left, right, for areas of interest, finding demand zones for how we get our targets for our shorts. And when we ran up through here, we didn't really create much, so we have to use value area data as well as previous historical key levels to help us with our short targets now. So let's see what happens. But yeah, right now we don't have an answer of when we're going to be jumping in the shorts, so we just got to wait for that structure. We can mark this level. Right, where's my rectangle? There it is. Right here. We have our previous value area high here. But this isn't very strong. Small regression trend, engulfing response. So we're looking here for potential residual buy orders, basically. So how you detect that without looking at the candles is just simply looking at the order books. So we'd go over to CoinGlass, and we go to the order books. I will give you the link because it's really hard to find on CoinGlass. It's a free tool to use, so don't worry about any subscription fees or anything like that. So we have, let's go over to the Ethereum chart right here and see if we can find any buyer's confidence. So we have, what the heck is that? Something's broken. Yeah, I've never seen that before. That's neat. It's definitely broken. It's like a UI glitch. Left side, what we have a lot of buyer's confidence at 3,500, but that's not happening, guys. This is a big ask. 3,500. Yeah, that's not happening. What's the next area? 4120. 4120. That's possible, but yeah, some of these people are begging for low prices. They might not get it. So the order books for Ethereum are not helpful today at all. They look broken. I'm not sure what's going on there. It's not even showing the live feed on the right hand side. This looks stable. This looks normal. Yeah, I wish I could give you some key levels, man. I don't see any on here. So we'll just wait for structure. If you're a part of the community, I think you might be. Your name looks familiar. I'll let you know. I usually am a watcher of Bitcoin. I keep a close eye on Bitcoin and some alts. I might have a stare down on them, but yeah, I'll keep my eye on Ethereum for you and see if I can find any more. Since it's so close to the all-time high, it's probably better to pay more attention to Ethereum, especially since we might get that rotation from the dominance chart from Bitcoin over to Ethereum. So Ethereum might see some relative weakness very soon, which is really, really common when an asset reaches its all-time high. People start to look for ways to exit and not ways to enter. Unless you're brand new, I understand some people will buy those all-time highs, getting hyped for the wild targets that influencers might state. But spot version, yeah, let's see. You might be right there. Let's look at the spot version. Might be non-broken. Yeah, lots of sellers trying to undercut $5,000 on the order books in the spot accounts. 4,990 is a key level right now. Lots of seller confidence there. Buyers confidence at 4,200. But that's a big ask too. You're asking Ethereum to drop about $400 or so, $500 or so. So I would prepare for horizontal resistance at 4,990 for Ethereum. We need to sell 27,800 Ethereum to get there, and then when we do get there, there's about a massive wall of 10,000 Ethereum there. So 4,990 is the undercut. So let's go back to that chart, Ethereum chart. We'll grab a horizontal line. Get the coordinates. 4,990. All right. So we know there's a massive sell wall there. The cool thing about limit orders is they are themselves a form of liquidity, right? So people will use them as exit plans, like a market maker, for example, because they help keep the price stable when you're selling. It reduces slippage. So if you were to sell, if you're trying to buy, well, you can buy into it. It'll create the stabilization. So just prepare for this to act as horizontal resistance. We could just tap into it and plummet. We could ride against it, chipping away at it like armor. When you see, if you see an ascending triangle like this against this, and buyers' confidence still being strong while we're going against it, then you really want to monitor the order books, because it's going to tell you which side's going to win. Is the seller's going to win and cause a drop, and then you target around here, or is the seller's going to lose and we get a pump, and then you look at your next psychological level or your next level in your order books. Because once you get the all-time high, you don't have data to look left for anymore when it comes to trying to build targets. It's all about the order books and psychological levels, and then using market structure to define weakness. Well, we got, good kilo for shorts here, potentially. Thanks for the suggestion. Look at the spot version, because my brain wasn't on there for a second. And when you're done looking at the order books, make sure you turn them off, because they take up a lot of virtual memory and they'll make your computer go ballistic. Hello, Kyle. Nice seeing you again. What is your target for this year for Bitcoin? Do you think the bear market is close by? I do think that the bear market might be getting near. I use on-chain data to define when the top is going to be in. It is suggesting that we're only 50% to our target, though. Like 200,000-ish might be our exit plan. So it's all based on when this chart gets overheated, and then looking at daily structure, like a daily opposing change of character to find the exit. So once I get that daily change of character, when we're in the overheated, that's when I'm out. And all I can do is guess when it comes to the actual target based on our positioning in the RPL chart and where we currently are in the relative to this chart. So yeah, I'm expecting around 200,000 or so to be the all-time high for this cycle before going to a bear market based on our current conditioning. If we were to range again for a long period of time, it will keep extending that target. And these are my macro exit rules that help me keep my emotions out. Fibs work too? Yes, you're right, Coma, for sure. Coma, what's your handle in the community? So I can make that connection. You're always here. You're always the first one to comment in the videos. Kyle, can you show more of your t-shirt? Yeah, I got this from the community. Lucky Trading. Yeah, Lucky Trading shirt. Do not wash. This shirt is a conversation starter in my area because like, it's hard to meet people that are interested in investing or trading, especially around here. So if I wear the shirt outside, sometimes they'll start a conversation. And then I think this shirt's actually like grown the community by a few members. Oh, you're not in Coma. That's why. Okay. I got you. Yeah, I think so. You see any current crypto cycles of bear, bull continue as before? Maybe we are entering a new phase. I'm thinking that the bear market conditions are going to be unique, just like the bull market conditions. Not something that we're used to, because all the macro consolidation that we keep having is going to create really strong, solid foundations for the bear market for when we fall, right? The same way we use like valley areas to help us assist us to know when we're going to get extension, we can do the same thing for when we get acceptance to the bear and during the bear market for continuations down. I'm anticipating that if the all-time high is around 200,000, that the bear market is going to be 70,000. That's my estimate, because that area is insanely strong. It might not be the bottom. Like, I'll be using this chart again to help dictate when I'll be buying based on the opportunity zone, when a large majority of holders are holding at a loss. With institutional involvement or not, this chart is going to work, right? So when we get to the opportunity zone, we'll see what kind of positioning we have, but I'm guessing it's going to be 70K. Yeah, so around here is where I'm going to be doing my rebuy for Bitcoin from when I sell. And I'll be selling 90% of my Bitcoin at the all-time high, just like I did last time, where I sold 90% and then rebought down here. Okay. Get the chart back up. What else do you guys want to look at? Looks like we might be getting an hourly SFP. We've got an hour left before it confirms. Oh, only a minute left before it confirms. What does that look like? The 15-minute, yeah, tweezer reaction. It looks like we'll be coming down to this 15-minute order block. So if we break this neckline here, guys, that is going to give us a change of character. At least in the lower time frames. 15-minute, 5-minute change of character. Yeah, 5-minute change of character. And that could bring us down to this point of control. See what happens. We could just have this awkward regression trend into the valley area instead. Chainlink. Yeah, let's look at Chainlink. Chainlink is one. It's got it had a little bit of relative weakness for a moment, but it pretty much did everything that we thought it would do yesterday. Because yesterday we were looking at this. It followed like every single one of my rules. So we came up, we lost momentum at the valley area high. We got that head and shoulders, which isn't one of my rules. I don't need a specific head and shoulders, but I just need a loss of momentum, change of character after testing or being at a value area high. I would prefer if we had a deviation from the value area before we get the change of character, so I can short and get better R&R to the value area low. But yeah, it's not up to you, right? It's up to the market. So we got a loss of the point of control. The same time we got the confirmation of the head and shoulders, and the same time we got that break of structure continuation. The measurable target was here. I kind of started to doubt that we'd hit the measurable target based on this behavior, but we ended up hitting it shortly afterwards. And yeah, we lifted off like everything else did. But now we can update all this information. We can delete this, not helpful anymore. We can pull our fixed range volume profile and update to here. We can adapt our lines. We now have more interest here than we did before. We had that pullback, retested the value area high, and now we're starting to see we got a little bit of a failure to create a higher high, double top kind of posture in the lower time frames, like the 5 minute right here. And now we're kind of creeping down, potentially using the value area high as support alongside this demand zone. Now let's zoom out a bit, because we do have this wick. When I ever see this dotted line on my screen, I always want to look left to see what it's from. We're awfully close to hitting the target for this massive double bottom. We're very close. Okay, so we have this previous value area high almost correlated with our active value area high. We have these wick levels here that could be, oops, my bad, sorry. These wick levels right here that could be swept, and that can induce a reversal down. Just be aware of that. This is kind of like the final boss before getting into this really strong key level at $30. Yeah, it's screaming a reversal here. This is the 4 hour. We get a 4 hour sweep of this high. If we close below this white dotted line, then we'll have we have a legacy SFP alongside with a local one. So we have two reasons to drop. And it would give us a target of here if we had the 4 hour one. Hourly is invalidated for an SFP. So all you could really get is that potential 4 hour. I don't use oddities like 2 hours or 3 hours time frames. Not saying that there's anything wrong with them. It's just something that I haven't tested to see if it worked for me yet. But yeah, if we do get that 4 hour SFP and we close below this white line, then we have double confluence for a potential return back down. And that would probably give a little bit of relative weakness to Chainlink, since it did do a decent move today, but just to its local value area high. It didn't like create new potential all-time highs like Ethereum, or like skyrocket like some of these other assets through strong key levels. And I think it's because Chainlink had some relative strength already, so there's a little bit of a cooldown period it's needing. We get to 15 minute. Yeah, it looks like it's trying to trigger some consolidation. The longer we stay above a value area high, though, guys, the more likely we're going to get that continuation. Right? If it builds structure above, think of it like building a new floor to a building. Like these are like their own little structures. It's like trying to build a new floor so it can elevate its way back up. So this value area high needs to hold in order for that to be possible. And luckily we have some demand zone confluence here. When we had this impulse move up, base impulse move up, look at these like demand zones. And we have a 15-minute order block in confluence with that. So what you need, so if I were to draw pathing and what I would recommend to prepare for, if we don't get that 4 hour SFP, I'll be looking like, let's see, where's something like this. And then you would monitor this high. Because if that broke after this retest, we could come up to our next key level target around $30, $30.94. What we don't want to see happen is this acceptance. So we'll come right down here. Sorry about that mess there. These anchors are sometimes a pain in the butt to cancel. There we go. Probably looks something like that. Solana from Sam. Yeah, we got a couple requests for Solana. So let's take a peek at Solana. Solana mooned up too. We're looking out for, the acceptance into the value area. And then rotation down to the value area low. It did it, but did it very awkwardly. Couple opportunities here. We came down. Did we get that SFP? We did. Okay. Oh, Solana always gives us the SFP, right? Just change the ticker to SFP instead of SOL. Yeah, so we got that sweep right here on this hammer candle. So this would have been the entry right here on the 15-minute. So when it swept, grab that liquidity, close back up. You would not have expected this follow through, of course. Like honestly, if I were in this, I'd be looking at Fibonacci confluence alongside the VWAP, right? I would have taken that confluence and prepared an exit plan up based on that. But normally with SFPs, what I look for is the most recent, like in this case, it would be a strong high, an internal strong high like this. And I'll be targeting something like that. But we just had that just basically this consistent drawdown. And then we blast off like everything else. Now let's see where it's currently at. So we got to our previous point of control. We're using it as resistance. Where does this POC come from? We had a consolidation. This is a relatively old one. Yeah, okay, this guy's been helping us out a lot. So we had this consolidative period here, when we had this downtrend back in like February. And when we came back up to return to it, it's helped us identify key levels for potential resistance and support. We used the value area low as resistance, the value area high as resistance consecutively, the point of control as support quite often, value area low as resistance. Now we're coming up to the point of control again, alongside with retesting this previous uptrending momentum. And it could act as a form of support. Now the good news is, even if we do get a rejection here at this POC, we're within the value area. So we could have a drawdown, if we do get a rejection here, down to the value area low, before we're continuing back up to test the value area high at 206. We do have confluence of resistance here, supply concern that I've got mapped out. So if we do get that bounce and we manage our way to the value area high, you just got to anticipate that this can act as a form of resistance again and keep us in this range bound price action, kind of like it did before back in the past. But it seems like recently, every time we get in here, we get these volatile rejections. So hopefully it won't be the case this time, but every time we lead into it, we have had these volatile pumps into it. So having a harsh rejection like this is common when you have massive moves going up. And we're, again, another one leading into it. So I'd anticipate, just prepare for that potential harsh rejection again to bring us back down to the value area low. But for now, yeah, if we hit our heads here, pull back here, come up to here. And that's 191.83, 192-ish that we could fall down to. But right now we don't have very much other than the consolidation. And we don't have any structural warnings that we could fall just yet. I'll be marking this as a key level, like this. Delete this level, we don't need that anymore. We can grab our pathing tool, expect to move like this. That's all we got right now. Otherwise, if we do continue to go right through the POC, because that's definitely possible, I'll be looking for the rejection around here at 205. So if you're in a long position, even if you do get this pullback, I'll try to hold. And I'll be looking for an exit around $205. Depending if we get the structural evidence, that's going to bring us back down to the value area low. But Sol's looking good, man. Just like everything else. Everything's looking great right now. Did you take a look at XRP? Yeah, it looks like it's holding above its value area low. We can take a look at that. We got a question here. Are you going to go for Bitcoin short from the all-time high to gain passive income from the funding fees? Yeah, we're waiting on that. So it'll be based on daily structure on whether or not I take that trade. So just to map out my plan for the all-time high for Bitcoin, if this, pretend this pathing is daily structure, right? So when we get to the, oh my God, why do I keep doing that? If we get to the all-time of the overheated zone here, I will then rotate to the charts and I'll look at the daily structure. And let's look here. What we're looking at, Solana chart, there we go. If we get to the daily structure and we get something like this, like a double top or a head and shoulders or anything that will induce a daily change of character, that's when I will be planning to jump into my short. My stop loss will be the strong high, but my goal, because we're looking at daily structure, will be to see if we get some kind of retrace as close as we can on lower time frames, like internal structure, to jump in on a short to get the best possible entry we can for our stop loss suggestion based on daily structure. Because sometimes we'll get these blow off tops with really high wicks, and I want to make sure I try to get in as close as I can to the top there, the invalidation point, and then I'll jump in a short, use this as my stop loss, and hold that trade until the bear market is considered over, right? When we call the bull market, kind of like the same way that we called the bull market last time at 16.9K, we'll do it the same way we're going to call it this next upcoming time too. Like hopefully I'm thinking around 70K, and I'm going to hold that, and then the funding rate fees will pay you passively. Depending on your exchange, it's usually every 12 hours. Some of them are every 8 hours. Some are every 24 hours. But yeah, it lands into your futures account. You might have, even during a bear market, the majority of the time the funding rate fees are positive, so people who are in shorts will get paid from people who are in longs. It's pretty cool. So yeah, that is my game plan for sure. And I'll let you guys know when the time comes. Like I post everywhere when I sell my Bitcoin, so hey Kyle, how do you decide which previous value area low and POC previous value area high are relevant enough to keep on the chart so as not get too messy? It does get a little messy, doesn't it, eh? So I do it based on, there are sometimes a value area will be overtaken by a new value area. So we see this is the Solana chart. This one has been relevant for a long time, right? If we manage to consolidate here for a decent period of time, let's say the previous one consolidated for like 20 days, and then we consolidated here for like 30 days, this would overtake that value area, the new one. And I'll delete the previous value area data because it would have overtake value area that would be stronger than that data. And it's more relevant to the current price action anyways. So it's all based on like, sometimes value areas will overtake other ones, and they tend to usually have the same value area high and value area low, and sometimes even the same POC, usually the same POC. But yeah, There's a whole little section of that inside the course. Okay, AUB wants to look at value, the XRP, see if it's holding above the value area low. Yeah, we could do that. Sam, subscribe. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, let's take a look at XRP. The last time we looked at it was yesterday. Oh, I just double clicked on it. Yeah, XRP. Yeah, okay. So yesterday we were talking about 2 opportunities here. Looks like they both occurred in a way, I guess. We got the break of the low. We're anticipating for us to come down and sweep this liquidity below this wick. We did it, but not in the same way that the other assets did, unfortunately, because it didn't really give us the SFP reaction that we'd wanted. They might have gotten a higher time frame if you kind of like force it. Not even, yeah. So this might have been the harder play compared to the other assets that we were looking at. Congrats if you got in on this. This is one I actually probably wouldn't have entered. And then we broke our previous key level, but that would have rotated from here to here by the time we got this break. And you're mentioning a value area low. You're right. Yep, we're getting above a previous value area low. Let's delete this noise now. We don't need this anymore. Great job on getting in on it. Broke that momentum. We hit that head and shoulders target. Swept this. I already know why that's there. We got through this supply concern, which only took a few, little bits of consolidation through this regression trend. We got this tight regression trend here. We are very, very, very close to getting acceptance into the value area. So good call on that. We are getting that retest on the value area low. So you just need that full body close above here to get that break of structure on the 15-minute time frame. So we'll have 15-minute acceptance, and that would extend our potential target to the value area high, which is confluence with this downtrending momentum, and I'll zoom out to show you that in a second. But until then, this is our first boss that we have to worry about. Unless I look left, we got to look left to see if there's anything else that we got to worry about. Oh yeah, we got here. Yeah, we got this level here. Get your horizontal array out, get your magnet tool out, and click on this wick right here. We could sweep that high and return down from there. So let's see if we close above. If we get a full body candle close above this level and confluence with this level, we should follow through and hit that point of control. Now I need to find out where, okay, so this consolidation here where this has been behaving a lot off this before in the past. That point of control volume node, it looks pretty strong. So take the POC pretty seriously. It did act as a strong point of support in the past and very strong level of resistance recently, before continuing this downtrend. So if you're in on a long on XRP, you got 2 little areas to watch out for. So hopefully we close above here to get that continuation, but here's going to be a serious spot to watch. I'm going to zoom out on the hourly now. So hourly, we have a potential. Oh, let me just connect this properly. There we go. Now we have to watch the order books to make sure that this is being respected, but you can also be reactional based on the structural evidence. But down right through here, we have a supply concern, as well as high amounts of liquidity from this highs right here. So if we break past this point of control, it might be a short-lived pump to that value area high in confluence with the downtrending momentum and confluence with the potential exit liquidity and the supply concern here. So if I were to draw pathing for you like we usually do, where'd that POC go? Oh, I think I deleted it by accident a sec here. All right, let's draw this pathing. So we break past this. Yeah, this is where you'd expect some turbulence for sure. And then from here, you can prepare for a short from here to the valley area low, while also being cautious of the point of control along the way down. We're looking good so far. Yeah, XRP's been crushing it. And in a macro scale too, like XRP's doing really well. Koma, it's time to show some love. Well, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Smash the like button. Yeah, you guys are better at promoting me than I am. Like Sterling was talking to me about that like yesterday. He's like, you gotta like shout yourself out a little more. But yeah, man, I smash the like button, press the subscribe button, click the bell, all that fun stuff. Yeah, it helps grow the channel quite a bit. But yeah, okay, so here's to hoping that XRP closes above this level and not just wick through it. If it wicks and closes below this level, then we'll have a legacy SFP that could put this level under attack, and we can come back down from here. So the that kind of pathing would look something like this, and I would expect to bounce from there. So this is kind of not a make it or break it moment, but are we going to continue or not is kind of the question. Sol looking good. Chainlink still bouncing off this little demand zone. Kind of looking like it's building a low time frame bear flag. Maybe an ascending double bottom, but Bitcoin being slow. Did we get that SFP? We did. We got an SFP on the hourly. So that's one bearish thing that could draw us down to here. If we break that neckline, then we can go to here. Let's see what happens. Volume just really started to dwindle. We got that bearish divergence as well on the RSI. Gotta cover for you. Thanks, man. XRP loves to play flags. That's a good question. That's a good thing, because like XRP, its flag posture is suggesting a really stupid, ridiculous target. I have it marked here on my daily. It's just hard to believe. It's suggesting a target of like $13, $12.88. And I always keep these on here because like I'm always in disbelief sometimes when I see them, but they tend to play out. And this is based on the momentum-based target from this more macro consolidation, this bull flag here, and it's building what's called like it's fractalizing a mini-me version of it, which is what I like to call confirmation formations, where they rest over top of its larger counterpart, and when they break, it's like the last chance before getting that run up. And this could take a long time for us to get there. Like the momentum from where we currently are suggests that if we were to get that target, and I'm not saying that we are, because we have lots of psychological levels along the way that could prevent that, and that's suggesting a massive, let's see, what would that be in a growth of its market cap from where we currently are? That's more than a 3x in its market cap. But based on our current momentum, it would, let's see, it's suggesting from today's date, if we were to get it, like 222 days. We'll see what happens. What I like to do when I call tops, especially for alts, is that it's all dependent on what Bitcoin does. So if I see Bitcoin, all the warning signs that I use to tell me to sell my Bitcoin, we have that altcoin season for like 2 weeks to about a month after the fact. And we might have pre-rallies before it with alts. But yeah, that's how I kind of like plan my exit plans with my alt bags. So like when I sell my Bitcoin, I usually sell everything else shortly afterwards when we have their structural evidence of weakness, and then I'll get out on them. So Bitcoin's kind of the boss of the entire crypto space, so. Okay. However, I see bearish divergence on the market cipher for XRP on the monthly. It's a market cipher monthly. Has it ever been tested in a way where it's actually helpful though? You won't have very many. You won't have very much historical backed evidence on its performance on that. Okay. What else you guys want to look out? I got a little bit more time left. Any assets you want to take a peek at? Possible Batman, yeah. Why don't you automatically set up a trade at that level? Oh, I see. Yeah, yeah. All right, you get it. Well, we've gone through Chainlink, we've gone through Solana, XRP, Tron, went through Ethereum, HBAR. You plan on selling your Karma too during the alt season? Probably not, no. It depends on which bag you're talking about. I've got multiple bags. I'm building an investor share accumulation bag that I will never sell. I plan on buying 5% of the supply of Karma, of the entire supply. Mainly because I want to be able to absorb a lot of the tokenomic rewards. Because the bigger the supply you have, the more you absorb from the rewards. That's just how it works. So I'll probably will be holding that bag forever. Like that's probably never going to be sold. I shouldn't be even saying the word probably. I'll never sell it. The only thing I would sell from it is the actual reflection rewards itself. And those rewards are going to be used to give you guys, like, for me to be able to issue guys, like, for Karma for free, or to do donations, or to create cool YouTube videos and stuff. Right now, I got about 51,000 Karma. I'll show you the transaction history for that bag. Now I've got other bags that I would never ever touch either. I have one with 200,000 Karma in it that I would never touch. It's just meant for marketing. It's just meant for giving funds away for its like tree donations and water donations and stuff alongside it. Like it's what it's meant for, right? I do have some small personal bags around 70,000. Maybe that one I would sell at price targets, but not based on the market conditions, whether it's altcoin season or not. If we get to, let's say, $2, I might sell some of those Karma tokens. I kind of have like an oath to Karma where I wouldn't sell it unless it got to like insane highs, just so I can give some circulating supply so people can buy it. Like $2 would probably be the area where you'd see me sell some from one of my bags, and I'll be telling people too, but not like the big bags. Those big bags are meant for helping the community and helping the Karma itself project grow. Savage, love it. You are the market, yeah, Michael Saylor of Karma. Yeah, exactly. Those were my thoughts too when I came up with that plan too. By the way, it's like, oh, I'm gonna be like Market Saylor for Karma. So you read my mind. Virtual. Let's take a look at virtual. Cardano. Can you check Ethereum against Bitcoin? I can tell you right now that Ethereum against Bitcoin, Ethereum's doing better than Bitcoin at this current moment. But we can take a peek at that too. Virtual charts. So we looked at virtual yesterday, I believe. Preparing for a bounce off of this key level. We got that bounce, of course, just like everything else. This was our key level at the time. It looks like since then it has rotated to, yeah, right here. Awkward dip. We can delete this. It's no longer helpful to us anymore. We broke the downtrending momentum. Pretty cool. Now, this is the start. So the measurable target for this break is here, right? We're basically watching the 200-day EMA, and looks like the 50-day is crossing over it. So we're getting that awkward state. We're getting that kind of like a death cross, but it only seems like we're getting the death cross just so we can get the golden cross right after. So as price action catches up, this is going to be a spot where we're going to anticipate kind of a blast off, because if we zoom out, we are building a massive double bottom posture after the squeeze event to this demand zone. That suggests the target of $1.87 again for our virtual. We have some turbulence we have to worry about along the way, of course. Like we're at one right now as we speak. Right, we got this wick level highs where we can expect, large players to potentially sweep this high and use it as exit liquidity. We have this, which is starting to sink in correlation to the 200-day, slowly getting there. So we'll tap into this simultaneously to sweeping this if we do get that turnaround. So I'm hopeful that we get that. It's kind of similar to, was it XRP? Yeah, XRP. Zoom in a bit. Oh, it's really close. Yeah, so I'm hopeful that virtual kind of behaves the same way as XRP, where we close above this wick and not sweep it. Because if we get that legacy S&P, it will induce a return down. We have an hourly order block here, luckily, so if we do get that sweep, we could bounce off of this previous high and confluence with that hourly order block. And then we just got to wait for the structural evidence, like a 15-minute time frame or lower, of the like an internal change of character for a return back up, if that were to occur. But yeah, we're in a spot right now where virtuals might get a little tired, because it did just pump 19%. Well, we had this internal demand zone here. We can delete that. That's fully mitigated now anyways. You guys can't even see it, but yeah, so we need basically virtuals needs to break past this in order for us to have that chance at that massive double bottom breakout. If we have that, then we'll have so much confluence backing this pump. The buy side liquidity, the 250-day EMA to act as a form of support, the double bottom posture. We've got lots of stacking confluences suggesting that we can get up here again. And we have that really strong supply zone along the way that could induce the pullback for the retest. So it's a waiting game. I'm not a big holder of virtuals, but I kind of wish I was. There's a lot of staking opportunities with this to accumulate third-party assets. What else is next? Do you plan on... Oh yeah, we already answered that. I'm not familiar with Karma. Why are you so invested? It's actually... Yeah, it's one of my projects. So Karma, I built that about 4 years ago before migrating into the Binance Smart Chain from its own system. And yeah, so it's one I built myself. Let's see. Cardano from Oliver. Let's take a peek at Cardano. August 20th. Do you think it's too late to get a decent sized bag in virtual? Depends on your definition of decent sized bag, but I wouldn't say it's too late. Depends on your... Like, I wouldn't be buying right now. Maybe you can get, if you want to accumulate... If you were to, so let's say you want to invest $1,000 into this, right? You could put in like $250 worth of it when we establish a low, and you can jump in during a position of strength when we had that change of character. Accumulate a partial amount there. If you're decent at range trading, you can accumulate more for free. I wouldn't say it's too late. It's just there was definitely a lot better opportunities down here. That's all. You're getting it at a 20% premium compared to this demand zone. You could be patient and wait for something down here, but I can't promise you that we'll come back down here, right? Until we get the... If we get a structural evidence that we are going to go down there, I'll let you know. But right now, I got nothing for you. Things are just looking really bullish right now. You could accumulate during next pullback to front run this potential break. Okay, Cardano was on the list. Where did that go? There it is. Cardano, we were looking for... Okay, it would had a measurable target of coming down to here. And we were talking about how the previous value area high would likely be a barrier to that. So we had this level marked right here, right? But if we did manage to break past it, we'd likely get a target extension beyond this to the 50-day EMA in confluence with that previous value area low. But we didn't, right? We just bounced off of the... We got a slight undercut to the value area high. We had... I guess this was the last thing we were talking about too, where if we broke this key level, and congrats if anyone took the trade, but if we broke this key level, we'd be targeting this previous value area low before coming back down. And then we broke this level, that's what would initiate this, right? And so we can delete this. It's not helpful to us anymore. Let's see. We do look like we're building some divergence on the 15 minute. We can delete that too. We should be pulling a value area. I'm surprised I don't already. A fixed range volume profile from here to here. We are trying to hold above that point of control. It's a good sign. You think there wouldn't be much more juice left in this pump, but you'd be surprised. We'll see what happens. We are starting to slow down a bit. So it's just a matter of whether or not we break those key levels or we just get another break structure continuation. So we got our value area high marked here. We mitigated this, so we can move this back to here. We mitigated some of this as well, so let's just tighten it up, refine it. Get that value area high marked. Okay. So here we had that pullback. Right, and then we got acceptance into the value area. And now we're bouncing up that previous point of control. It is giving us bearish divergence. We could probably see it marked on my RSI on the 5. Yeah, it's showing on the 5 here. So the downside is that we're starting to see that structural evidence of resistance. We're getting that like that head and shoulders, kind of Wyckoff vibes, Wyckoff distribution vibes. If we get that break right here, this would give us a move. It might not be tradable. The pathing that I would prepare for is something like this. Bounce through here, maybe hit our head off this again, and then we can come back up to the value area high. But I'm trying to see the future when I do that. I gotta be more realistic. Just prepare for the bounce here. And watch your barriers along the way, which would be the POC, right? So what we need to see have happened, and to invalidate this drop, is simply just to close above this high. So we get that close. It comes pretty low volume. Look at the history of the price action and this volume gap right here, right? So if I were to draw a box, you'd see a lot more clearly for any beginners who are new to value areas. See this box? I'll just make it a different color so it doesn't confuse anyone. And we'll send it to back. There we go. So here we have a big key area of interest, which is the biggest one in the value area will always be the POC. And we have another volume node right here. So between this area, price action is going to move historically quickly through it. Right? And you see how we had this fast move, this fast move, this fast move, this fast move here. We have a little bit of regression, like a little bit of regression trend here. But normally we move quickly, right? So if we do get that break of structure again, we can anticipate Cardano do another fast move to the top side where this volume node begins, this volume shelf right here. And then we prepare for shorts at 95 cents. So we're getting close to that potential continuation. So this high, if broken, this is the pathing that I would expect. We get a full body candle close above the wick. So just let me move that first, because we could get an SFP and that would invalidate it too. So we need a full body candle close here, and then I would anticipate for us to hit our head off this value area high, and that's where I'll be preparing for shorts again. But that's Cardano. We're kind of in a no trade zone is basically what's going on right now. So we need, if A happens, prepare for A. I wouldn't be entering a long, but I'll be preparing to exit my shorts here. If this happens, I would be taking some profits if I was in a long here, right? And then hopefully hold it to see if this acts as support to hold my trade for this potential continuation back up. But that's Cardano. I hope that helps you out. Large shorts liquidations around 1.65 for virtual on the heat map. Oh, nice. Right on. Those, think of like those big zones where there's a large amount of liquidity in one spot as magnets to market makers so they can use it as a exit plan. All right, guys, I gotta head out. I appreciate everyone who's been watching. We are doing that promotion where you can get in for 50% off for the first month using the code all-time-high to celebrate Ethereum getting, hopefully to its all-time high. It will likely get there, guys. We're so close. Super close. We've probably gotten there on other exchanges. That code will also get you 20% off the yearly. So if you're an existing member who's already tried us out and realized you'd love us, you can use ATH to get yourself 20% additionally off of the yearly plan, because it's already comes with 20% off on top of that. Alrighty. All right, guys. You have a great day. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for sharing. I really appreciate your guys' support. We're starting to grow. The next goal is 7,000 subscribers. And when we get there, I got a gift for anyone who's watching a live stream on the day we get to 7,000 subscribers.